So we said by open sourcing a platform, we add a second O in the picture. Open access. We're looking to get open content over time, and Delft has started that movement. We're also looking to get an open source platform on edX. So 2 weeks ago, edX, true to its word, made its platform available as open source to the world. This means that the software that we are developing is free. Anybody can pick it up and do what they want with it. Our hope is that they will all add to the platform and contribute to it. There's also a lot of pressure on edX to take one additional step. Folks are saying, hey, edX, why don't you also provide a hosting service? It's this camel in the tent story where, the camel keeps coming into the tent more and more. And so it's one of those things where people are looking for a little more from edX, where they're saying, why don't you create a hosted site as well, where it becomes really easy for anybody to put up, any university to put up courses. And that is something that we're actively thinking about. So openness is a big deal for us. So 5% of the students did a really hard course, and they got a certificate. I would have to teach at MIT for 40 years, twice a year, 2 semesters, to teach this many students. So don't let the attrition rate of MOOCs fool you. Just remember the buzzword. I mean, buzzwords are nice. They help you remember things. MOOCs, and here, think of it as flipping the funnel. So instead of the funnel being this way, we flip it. Anybody can come in. Next, let me talk about how MOOCs are impacting campus education. And so here in this country, far away, 2 high school teachers. This is in the Sant High School. They blended the classroom. They used the edX course material. And they had students do videos in their own rooms, their homes, and came to class. And they had to solve problems together, discussions, and a lab. And so this was in a high school. And this was in Mongolia. Completely unbeknownst to us at edX, we found a blog, and that's how we discovered them. In fact, this very class in Mongolia produced a prodigy, Batushig. So Batushig was a 15-year-old. This character, and I took this as a personal affront. In the edX, in the circuits course from MITx, this 15-year-old kid scores 100 in the whole course. Okay, that was a personal affront to me and Jerry Sussman and my colleagues who put the courses together. Heck, I would not get 100 if I took the exam myself. So this is 15-year-old, he's a prodigy, and guess what? He's been admitted to MIT, he's coming to MIT this fall. So, the real challenge is how do you teach design? How do you teach creativity? And creativity and design is about building something when nothing existed. Give someone a blank sheet of paper and how do you build from it? So we do this. We have an online lab built by, for the circuits part, built by Chris Terman and Jacob White, where we use online simulation technology to give students a lab-like experience. So so learners can build circuits with Lego-like, much like you build an online Lego system, and they can analyze it, and it can also be graded. So the next one is peer learning. Another key aspect is peer learning, where students are learning from each other. Let me tell you the story here. When we did the first course on edX over a year ago, and we had a lot of students on the platform, I didn't sleep for 3 nights. Now, how we said on the discussion forum, how do we answer questions from this many students? So we had about as many instructors and TAs as we have in a 100-person class on campus. So I said, folks, 7 by 24, we're going to be up all day, all night answering questions. So promptly, at 2 a.m. at night, I was sitting there, and a question pops in from a learner, I think from Pakistan. And I'm trying to type the answer. I'm not a great typist, and as I type, before I can finish, in pops an answer from, I think, someone from Egypt. Not quite the right answer, so I'm going to change to correct the answer. Before I know it, another answer is put in by someone from the US. I sit back fascinated, and boom, 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 boom. By 4 a.m. in the morning, they've been discussing it, and they get the right answer at the end. And all I had to do was go in and say, good answer. That was an epiphany for me. Now, when I mentioned this anecdote to my learning colleagues who've been doing research and learning for decades before I got into education, they said, oh yeah, Anant, we've known this all along. So people have known this apparently, but it was an epiphany for me that students are teaching each other, and by using technology, we're able to now scale to large numbers where they answer each other's questions. So I think we're getting a lot of data in terms of how students are learning, and I think we now begin to question and try to understand, why is this so? Can we use that knowledge to improve education on our campuses? So with that, let me stop and take some questions. So we did, in fact, we already conducted the pilot. We partnered with Pearson VUE, and students could go to a testing center where the IDs were checked and they were proctored, so they could take exams in a proctored setting. We did a pilot to test out the whole system in the early part of this year. A number of universities who are our partners and others have indicated that they would like to give campus credit for MOOC courses. And in order for them to be able to do that, there needs to be some kind of a proctored exam where they can verify, where they can make sure that students have done it fairly. So that serves as a prerequisite for sort of the next steps, and we have been working on that.